Good morning. My name is Angela Roberts, and if I were to sum up Charlie LaMountain in one word, I think it would be this: bold. Sometimes I think her boldness makes her come off as scary, or at least intimidating. Like one time I was filling my tires at a gas station, she crept up behind me and shouted, "Roberts, what are you doing?" And I got so scared I jumped up and started crying. At school, when she is trying to grasp a difficult concept in class, she insistently asks questions until she and the rest of the class understands. This is when Mr. Sohn calls her feisty. At Youth and Government, she exhibits this boldness by delivering speeches and asking questions that challenge bills that are poorly written and would hurt Tennesseans. On the climbing wall, she is not afraid to do risky moves far above the ground. In the weight room, she strives to lift heavier and heavier every day. Her boldness has also gotten her into some interesting situations. In 8th grade, Miss Herr threatened to give Charlie detention for, in class, barking at her. And in our calculus class last year, Charlie convinced Shreya that her legal given name was Chunkley III. When Shreya started to question her, Charlie let her chin quiver and a single tear fall. She insisted that it was a family name passed over generations. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Charlie, Sir Chunkley III herself, Charlotte Sandra LaMountain.
Stumbling over a root hidden under the dense brush of the forest, I find my footing again a few steps ahead of me. After pausing to collect my bearings, I look up from the ground and it hits me. The pure, refreshing calm of the forest. I'm completely alone. It's just me, my clipboard, and a radio for rare but necessary communication. I continue walking along the trail, following a path that is more muscle memory than conscious thought. I come to the next box and remove the lid. Inside, like a gift neatly packaged among twigs and moss, are 3 tiny eggs. I pick one up and gently press it under my bottom lip. It's still warm, freshly laid and carefully attended by its mother. I take note of the nest on my clipboard and continue on my way. Line checks, as I came to know them, were a regular occurrence in my fieldwork this summer. My research team and I would spread out throughout the field station every 5 days to individually check the nest boxes we had set up at the beginning of the season. My own territory was about 2 miles of hiking in 2 hours, but those more experienced than I could cover double my zone in less time. 3 days a week, I would meet up with my crew and learn all about what goes into a research project like this one. I studied a species of songbird that spend the warm season in the southeast. I fell in love with my solitary hikes, the early morning sunlight, the spiders and their invisible but shockingly thick webs, my birds and their attentive care for their babies. I also fell in love with the research process. What has struck me the most is the messiness and imperfection of nature and biology. I think the phrase "a perfect science" is a bit of an oxymoron. The world is messy, humans are messy, and so is our science. And I find this fact oddly comforting. If science, the process of questioning and learning, of furthering our understanding of all there is to be known, can be so convoluted and imperfect, then perhaps it's okay if I make mistakes too. I've always struggled with perfectionism. The reality is that I'm really far from anything that could be considered close to perfect, and this fact drives me crazy. Though it seems like imperfection is an objective fact of human existence, or really existence of any kind, the idea that I cannot simply be automatically good at everything I do has always bothered me. And I've tried a lot of things. I was the kid that played just about every sport and tried every hobby growing up. Soccer, basketball, gymnastics, ballet, origami, art, piano, writing, the list goes on. The point is, though, that I could get decently good at these things pretty quickly, and then at a certain point my skill level would plateau, and I'd lose interest when the possibility of becoming the best at something actually took effort and practice. I think a part of my problem is a fear of failure. If I can't be the best at everything I do, I fail at the things that decide my worth as a human being, and therefore I hold no value. These past couple of years specifically have humbled me. A lot of people don't know this, but I used to be a ballet dancer. I danced 5 to 6 times a week for a total of something like 14 hours on an average week. It was brutal, and to be honest, I don't think I was ever really that great at it. I enjoyed ballet, but it invites a lot of comparison and dissection of your own worth based on how you look in a mirror. I think an activity that relies on you looking at yourself in the mirror for a couple hours straight, several times a week, isn't all that great for a brain like mine. So the end of junior year, first semester comes around, and I am falling apart. I'm way too overworked, stretched very thin, not getting nearly enough sleep, and falling out of love with an activity I had done for the majority of my childhood. I felt like I didn't really know where I was supposed to go. If I quit ballet or dropped a class, then surely I was a failure. Surely I could never live up to what weird image I had built up of myself, or what others had built up of me. But I had to make a choice, or I would have simply unraveled. I realized there was no healthy path forward for me and my crippling perfectionism, so I made the horribly painful decision to quit ballet. For a while, I felt like a total failure. Jump forward to senior year, and I in no way have magically become perfect at every single thing I do. I've started rock climbing, and I love it so much, but I'm definitely not perfect at it. I fall all the time, but instead of feeling like a failure like I did when I danced, I love getting back up and trying again. I am still probably doing a lot more schoolwork than I should, but I don't think I would have it any other way. I joined the band, playing the trombone, an instrument that up until a month ago I had never touched. I am not good, but it doesn't matter because I have so much fun learning and practicing. I had so much fun practicing for the flag football game, but I fumbled most of the plays I was a part of. Wasn't very good at that either, but Elena and Grayson and Kayla and the rest of my team never stopped cheering me on. I've started making origami again because I love making things. I'm nowhere near as good as MJ and her creations, but the point is how much fun I have while doing it, how my brain goes quiet while my hands fold the paper. I think I've come to a point in my life where I could feel happy picking up dance classes again, finding joy in the movement that I think I lost along the way. This year, I've had so much fun with each and every one of my classmates, my teachers, my friends, and my family. I've had fun climbing and joking around with Angela, my random off-topic conversations with my biology class, screaming my heart out at senior nights and pep rallies. I've had to learn how to reshape my self-image into not one of a failure, of someone who is not complete without perfection, to a person who is completely whole as I am with all of my flaws. I hope I remember my high school career not as miserable, but full of joy and fun and laughter and meaningful connections with all of my peers and teachers. I hope I can remember to live just a little bit more like a scientist, finding beauty in my own imperfection and the mystery of my own existence. Thank you all for helping me find that.